Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wasalam, rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Tahir Khalid. I'd like to welcome you to a program here on Sharjah TV, Youth Issues. And today's program is the concluding program in the series in which we're discussing the super student. And today we're going to talk about taking examinations. Now, the first thing, of course, you should pray. You should make 2 rakats the morning before the examination, or evening, whatever it is, to pray and ask Allah to help you. But, of course, now, you should have done the work. Okay? You should have done the work before the examination. But still, make 2 rakat, pray 2 rakat, ask Allah to help you in this. But don't be deficient. Don't say, well, I'm going to pray 2 rakats and Allah's going to help me pass the examination, but I didn't do the work. Don't do the work, please. Okay, in the beginning, a lot of people, first of all, they're nervous. They're very good students, but they're nervous in taking examinations. How do you overcome that? One of the ways of overcoming that is to make your own examinations. At different phases in your studies throughout the year, we said in the previous programs, gather a certain amount of questions from each chapter. Now compile those questions and make your own examination. As an example. So make that examination and go through it yourself. For each chapter that you might be studying, for each subject. So you make yourself, so what happens, like anything else, you become accustomed to doing this. So when you have to take an examination, it's no big deal for you. This becomes routine because you've made your own examinations. Also, this is an important point in relation to studying for examinations, that you have taken notes from the classes, because sometimes in classes the teacher himself may present things that are not in the text which have been presented. Number 2, you should ask your teacher for extra work in relationship to the subject matter that may help you on examination. Number 3, ask the teacher what material is going to be covered on the examination, so you know exactly what has been going to be covered. And in your chapters that you studied, you should have highlighted, you should have taken notes, so you already have an outline for what's going to be on the examination. Number 4, you should have taken note from previous examinations and quizzes that you had in the class. I mean, generally, maybe the teacher will not give you the examination or not give you the quiz, but after the examination and quizzes, you should try to remember those questions that you think were important, and particularly maybe questions which you thought were tricky, or maybe you didn't do well on them. You should write them down, jot them down, and make another test out of the test that you had throughout the test. And the quizzes, make a test yourself as you remember it for the questions or problems or whatever it might be from the quizzes and tests that you had throughout the year. So now you have your own study guide from the tests and quizzes that you had throughout the year. Teachers are not going to give you the tests, not going to give you the quizzes, but through this memorization, write down what you remember, and particularly those things which were difficult. And if you don't remember exactly, remember what chapters were covered on the quizzes that you found some difficulty with or you thought were difficult. This helps you in studying. These are some of the things that help you to study for the examination. And of course, we said previous programs that in studying, you need to put time in. You need to put in at least one class, one period per period, meaning that for every class that you have 1 period of study, similarly. And if you are weak in a subject, then you need to increase that to something that is realistic. Some people say, well, you need 2 hours per class or something. Don't make it difficult on yourself, but don't make it easy. Follow the middle. If you make it too hard on yourself, you're not going to be able to do it consistently. Do what is easy for you to do consistently, and then you will be consistent in it and you will get benefit. If you do it and it's difficult for you, you will not be able to do it. And look at your studying, particularly when it comes to examinations. Don't look at your studying as 5 days. So you go to school 5 days as an example. So you say, and I go to school, let's say 6 hours or 8 hours. Don't look at it like that. Look at your education as 7 days. Yeah, I know, everyone wants a break. But we're saying look at your education from a 7-day perspective. Okay? And especially when it comes to examinations, use that time on the days that you're off for study. Set up study period in those days so that it's covered. And then organize your other activities around your studies, not vice versa. So, okay, we're getting to the test now. First thing is, make sure you understand the instructions perfectly. Ask the teacher if you don't understand. Many people, they make mistakes on the test. This keeps them from getting an A. Simple things. They didn't put their name properly in the proper place. Sometimes you have some very strict examinations, particularly national or international examinations, whatever they may be, college entrance examinations. Sometimes they're very strict. And because you didn't read and understand the instructions properly, you made unnecessary errors. Don't give anything away. Make sure you understand it. Think about what's being said and make sure it's clear. If it's not clear, ask the teacher or the examiner if they can give you information. If they can, then continue. Similarly, go over instructions for each chapter, for each section of the test. Make sure you understand clearly what those instructions are saying. Keep time yourself. You know, if you have so many questions to do in 1 hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is, keep time. Do all the questions and think about the most logical answer, unless it's a test that they tell you don't guess. But on a test, don't leave anything blank. If there's a blank, guess. Take a reasonable guess, read it, and answer it. Number one, do the questions that you are sure of first. Whatever you are sure of first, go through it. You say, I know this for sure, do those. Secondly, do the questions that you may have to think about. You think about them. Secondly. Lastly, the things that you are not sure about or you don't know, tick them, leave them. Why is that? Because what will happen in many instances, you will be locked in and take a lot of time up with something that you're not sure of or you don't know. And it sometimes will confuse your thinking processes in relationship to the other things. You begin to question yourself about other things which you do know. So if you're not sure about it or you don't know it, leave it. Tick it and come back to it after you finish examination. Otherwise, many instances, you kill your time. And you look at examinations, here's 3 or 4 questions. I knew those things. I knew they were easy for me. But the time is up because you spent the time with something that you didn't know or you questioned. So go to the things that you know for sure and finish them first, and then the things which you have to think through, and then the things which you're not sure of or you don't know at all. Relax. And part of relaxation is breathing. So relax and breathe. Don't hyperventilate. Breathe and relax. Take it easy. Keep yourself calm. Number 5, check your answers when you're finished. Don't change doubtful answers unless you are absolutely sure. Sometimes the answers are doubtful and they change them because sometimes the teachers give you tricky questions. And your first thought is usually the best thought. So if you go back over an examination, you're going back over your answers, and you find one, and you say, well, no, I don't think it's... Your first thought, leave it. Unless you're absolutely sure that what you did was wrong. Number 6, analyze tricky questions from different angles. Reword them to find a trick. Take the answers, look at them, sometimes the answers are very close, or sometimes an answer is in another section of the examination. The answer is right there. The teacher's tricking you. He's changed the wording from something that was in a chapter that you read to make it tricky. Look at it from different angles and ask yourself questions backwards and forward until you find out the trick in it and then find out which answer is the correct one. Number 7, think positive. Make sure you do the work beforehand. If you feel positive that you've done as much as you can to prepare yourself for examinations, when you come to examinations, will not be a problem for you. Many people are nervous because they didn't do the work. So make sure you do the work. You cover the amount of work. Give yourself the proper time to study and prepare. And even if it's a subject which you're a little weak in, then you know beforehand you have a lot of work to do. Make a diagram for yourself. Have someone go over it with your teacher. Go over with some other students, make a little study group preparing for examinations, or work with a tutor. Do whatever it is you do to prepare yourself for examination. Number 8, whatever the result is, be satisfied you have done your best. Always do your best. Number 9, look at your mistakes. Use them as a means of improvement. Don't say, oh, you know, I did so-and-so. Say, okay, I made a mistake here. I improved it. Learn what it is, how you made that mistake, and improve yourself the next time. Number 10, understand what you did wrong. why you made the mistakes. What is the thing that what is the reason that you did these things? Why didn't you get it correct? Why you didn't get it right? And the same thing, you can look at the things that I got right. Why did I get them right? What was the means of methodology? Was it because I studied? Was it because I was prepared before? Was it because I sat in a study group? Look at the reasons also why you did well. Then this will help you always have a system of doing well. Being a good student, part of that is having a system. You must have a system, and that system employed under all circumstances. And that's what you're looking for. Establish a system for your whole life to be successful. Number 11, review the process you use for deciding the